So FouseyTube got arrested. He was acting crazy to the police officers. So here's that clip.
Dog, I'm live streaming. I'm the most famous guy on the internet right now.
Okay, cool.
A guy calls my mom yesterday and says I'm gonna slit your throat. He called to my mom.
Okay.
No, my mom's throat.
Okay.
He calls my room today. Hi, it's me again. Remember me? He posted a video. He was on live yesterday calling my mom. I have his face, everything recorded.
Wait, and who is this guy?
I don't fucking know.
So how do you want us to look for him if you don't know where he is?
I have his address.
What is his address?
I said grab my security 20 minutes ago. You guys are dumb as fuck, man. You guys are literally dumb as fuck. Oh, yeah. Hey, record this. Security, come in here now.
They told me to stay outside. I can't come inside.
Yo, for my protection, come in here.
I can't come inside. They told me
He can't come in?
I cannot.
Y'all are fucked. I'm suing all y'all. My life is in danger and you arrest a Palestinian Muslim who's viral? Are y'all dumb or are you stupid? Do you like your job? You're fucked. Hey! Hey, free Fousey!
Now, I'm not going to talk about this specific situation, but honestly, this is going to be more of a video of what Fousey should do moving forward. So, that whole altercation, I've heard apparently he got swatted by this other Twitch streamer because they were having issues, and it wasn't just Fousey, although I think Fousey really, honestly, if you're calling the cops, you got to be 100% honest, especially if you're live streaming. He was telling him that he had a gun to his head, even though he didn't, and on live stream he was just normally talking on the phone. I don't know, there's so much, but I am concerned about Fousey. I know I made a video on it already before, but this time there's more concern. Let me just show you this real quick. I messed that up. Just let me show you this real quick clip of him in Neon.
Hey, you think you're so
perfect. I am smart.
You think you're perfect. You're not. You're far from perfect. You got a fucked up ass too.
I think I'm perfect.
You said you weren't gonna fucking do that,
I
dude.
think I'm perfect. I just prayed and cried to Allah and asked Him for forgiveness for all my shortcomings and sins. Respect your fucking elders and get the fuck out of my house. I don't give a fuck about your content or the Island Boys. If you want, go suck their fucking dicks. Let them fuck you cream pie style, you fucking faggot.
Neon is honestly a kid that needs to get his ass kicked right now, because if he keeps going on this path, he's just going to be hated by everyone. And for all you know, maybe someone's going to kill him, because genuinely Neon's just that annoying. And at 19 years old, you need someone to put you in your place, because when you're young, you're dumb, all right? And then the older you get slightly less dumb, all right? That's just life, okay? That's why I'm actually happy that when I was younger, like, I mean, obviously I'm not making money right now, but if I was to become YouTube famous, honestly, I think right now I'm at a better age than if I had gone famous, like if I was in my teens or my early 20s. I mean, I am in my early 20s, but if I was in my late teens, because I feel like it gives people an ego that they haven't rightfully gone yet. But Fousey himself, I watched the entire clip with him in Neon, and all I kept seeing from Fousey is a guy who can't be famous because fame gets to his head. Have you guys ever heard the phrase of, when you give someone power, that's when you really see who the real version of them is? Like when someone gains some type of authority. Let's say they become a manager at the place you work at, or they become a dictator. I know that's a completely different comparison, but have you ever heard that thing? I honestly believe that's true. I believe that when someone has more authority or has more power, you see that person as who they really are. It's just that it's something that's hidden in them. And you see a change, but they really didn't change. It's more just that that's just who they were, just that they couldn't do that. I saw this with one of my friends a couple of years ago. They got a higher paying job, and immediately they became more of an asshole than they were in the past. And I feel like ever since I heard that quote, and then seeing this person be much different in my life, I always believe that quote's just extremely real. And I think the same applies to FouseyTube. FouseyTube constantly has these downfalls. He constantly has these spirals out of control. And to me, what I'm seeing right now with Fousey is this is a guy who just can't be famous. Not because he himself is an inherently evil person. No, it's just that I think fame changes his mind. He all of a sudden now believes he's this prophet, this messiah. And I do think that honestly there was times in the clip where I thought, okay, he is putting Neon in his place. He is saying and doing things that I think every young guy should listen to. And there's moments where Fousey just comes off as a real motherfucker. I listened to his podcast with H3H3. It was one of the best podcasts from H3 ever. Like, I don't even subscribe to H3. I started recommending it. I'm like, okay, I want to hear what Fousey's been up to these last couple of years. And then boom, it was one of the most entertaining podcasts I'd ever heard. And I'm not even an H3 fan anymore. But then you see him with Neon slapping him constantly, and I get maybe slap him once. Like, don't get me wrong, there was times in my life where I got slapped, and I was like, okay, I understand why. Like, you know, when an adult figure, like, they were like jalarme orejas, like anytime they would do that, it'd be like, I'd be like, okay, maybe you can't go too far, but there was moments where I'm like, okay, this actually helped me because I learned something from that. But for the most part, every time, and the thing is, you've even seen this with Fousey when he talks to fans. You'd be like, "Why aren't you asking me for advice? I'm this advice person. I'm the best person when it comes to advice." And I saw this clip with Sneeko, and every time it just feels like he thinks he's this like person who everyone should listen to and everyone should respect. Here's the thing: respect is earned, not given, and he's been fanboying for Andrew Tate. I feel like Andrew Tate's a good example of this. I'm not an Andrew Tate fan, but Andrew Tate has a major amount of love and respect from men because he earned it. Now, we're just going to have to wait to see court if he's a human trafficker or not. That's a different conversation. But at least with him, what you can say is that he earned that. Fousey, you haven't earned that yet. Because what have you done exactly? He keeps flexing the kick deal, even though it's weird because Fousey will go on his streams and say, I have all this money, I'm rich, Kick is going to pay me, I can't tell you what the contract is. And then 20 minutes later, it said that he doesn't have the contract and he's broke. Like at one point in one of his streams I was watching, one of the clips I was watching, he was asking Aiden Ross to buy him a Miami Heat jersey because he didn't have that Kick money yet. Apparently, there's some rumors that he might not even get signed because he's just been too controversial. But this whole mental health breakdown, the thing is, we also, and by the way, I still stay true to that video that I made. I think people need to be more empathetic, more sympathetic to Fousey because ultimately, most of us, we've never dealt with somebody who has genuine mental health problems. Like everyone has their problems, but not to the extent that someone like Fousey is. Because some people do understand what Fousey's like. Fousey is just not right in the head. That's the truth. And I think it's hard for people to understand that, especially when they don't have someone close to them with those kinds of issues. And I still think that we need to be more empathetic. We need to be more sympathetic. But at the same time, I think we as a community, we need to understand that Fousey just can't be famous. Like, I honestly think that it'd be better if Fousey quit the internet and got a real job. It might not be good financially, you know, but mentally speaking, I don't think he can handle it because fame, and I'm not famous, so I can't speak on this obviously, and I don't know anyone personally that's famous, but I feel like when you're famous, especially when you've been as famous as Fousey, who has been like, he at one point he was one of the biggest YouTubers back in the day. He's been doing YouTube for over a decade. There's kids right now that are YouTube famous that grew up watching Fousey. You know, me, I grew up watching some of his pranks. You know, my favorite video of his was that vlog he did in the Brazil World Cup in 2014. That was, to me, the only time I really was a Fousey fan. And when you have a decade of thinking that this is what you need to do, and you have all this fame, I feel like it changes your mind and makes you think you're the best. Even in every single one of his videos that I've seen of his, every time he's telling everyone, "Oh, I'm the top of the world. I'm on top of the internet. I'm the biggest internet personality in the world." I don't think that's even true. I mean, sure, he's being talked about a lot right now, but I don't think he really is the most famous person on the internet. I don't know, but you just see this mindset. It's an ego of his that he's built up in his mind. And I think every time it comes out, every time he gets any sort of fame, and then we've seen it multiple times. It's not just a one-off thing. When he's in his downfall, he releases a video talking about his depression, how he feels. I don't think I can say the word on YouTube, but let's just say toaster bathish. When you feel that way, and then all of a sudden people love him again, people are rooting for him again, almost an underdog story, and then he becomes famous again. We've seen this countless of times. That whole event that happened Drake and Keemstar. I think it was July 10th. I think it was on a July 10th. Yeah, that whole car incident. We've seen it multiple times. Fousey can't be famous because it gives him an ego and it makes him an asshole. Because I saw those clips, and while yes, he put Neon in his place, for the most part, it just felt like he purposely wanted to, and he purposely wanted to be angry at Neon. And again, this whole arrest situation just shows once again that Fousey can't be on the internet. He just can't be, because it's just gonna give him the ego and then another crisis. And I ultimately think, and I believe this is 100% true. I don't believe Fousey has somebody to keep him grounded 24/7. Now, from the way he talks about his parents, it seems like they do, but I don't think he sees his parents often. I think what Fousey really needs is a person in his real life that he's with every day, not some social media person. I'm talking about a real person, like a real friend. It can be a girl, it can be a guy, whatever. He really needs that friend that keeps him grounded, that keeps him steady. And surprisingly, I believe that person can be Sneeko. Because it's weird, because when I watched Fousey talk to Neon or talk to the Island Boys, which the Island Boys are a different kind of fucked up. Those guys need to stay off the internet, you know. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I'm not gonna be the person to tell you. I don't want to break the news to you. If you know about the Island Boys, then that's a different kind of tragedy right there. I would say that's a bigger tragedy what they're doing for internet clout. But I saw the way him and Sneeko talked. It was, first of all, it was the first time you saw Sneeko normal, at least in a while, because Sneeko on his own streams will be as crazy and berserk as he tries to be. But with Fousey, you saw almost the best out of both of them come out, where you saw Fousey was a normal guy, but he was just more energetic. Like, he had a certain type of aura that just seems to be fun around. Same thing with Sneeko. Sneeko was acting normal. He was acting like a normal person. Maybe Sneeko could keep him grounded. I don't know. But then again, I don't think Sneeko might be the best, because Sneeko is really, really in deep with the whole pushing out his own beliefs and ideology almost in a forceful manner. You know, and then he says crazy ass shit. Like he almost gave EDP $200 for an interview. Like, and then he was trying to justify that EDP maybe isn't that bad. So I don't know, man. I don't know if that's the best example. I don't know, but ultimately all I gotta say, and I don't have any answers, because honestly I've never dealt with situations like this. It's just, to me, what it seems like is people need to be more empathetic with Fousey, but at the same time Fousey needs to get off the internet. Stop with this G7 BS. Stop with this whole everything. Like, it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's going to work out at the end. Something's going to happen. Seeing how comfortable he is releasing his address online. First of all, I don't know the entire issue. I watched the entire video and I still couldn't understand what the hell was even going on. But ultimately, Fousey needs to get off streaming too, because he's gonna get swatted everywhere he goes. He's gonna look crazy. He's gonna keep getting arrested, and eventually, it's just gonna make him berserk. It's gonna make him crazy. And I don't know. To me, if I'm close to Fousey, honestly, I tell him cut the streams out, because I think another issue that we aren't even putting out there is being on the internet 24/7 is not good. Because when you're on the internet, you want to show people that character that you built for yourself. You want to show them that. Whether it's you're recording 11-minute videos like me, which this video is probably going to be longer than 11 minutes, but I assume it's 11 minutes right now. Or whether it's you live stream every day like Aiden Ross for a certain amount of time. You have a character that you put on. And with Fousey doing this 24/7, everywhere he goes, it's almost like now that character that you're on camera, you have to be that character the entire time. And it almost makes, because right now what it seems like Fousey's character is right now, is he is the motivational speaker that knows the truth about the world, and he's out to teach people why he is the best person in the world. That's the character I'm seeing. Because when it was the Deji fight, he seemed to be, oh, I'm the shredded muscle guy who is really good at fighting, and no one can stop me because I have the strength in my mind and my heart. You know, he's had different characters. Whether it's the July 10th guy who thought he was his motivational guy who was able to get Drake in his free concert. Whether it's the prankster that faked it till he made it. Whether it was the vlogger from back in the day that would vlog everything. Whether it was the guy who wasn't Muslim and he was trying to pretend to be Muslim for the cameras. Whatever character it is, it's not good for Fousey. Because it seems like that's just how the game is on YouTube. If you play a character, it's going to consume you if you put that character for way too long. And ultimately, I think he needs to get off the internet. And even the way he's talked, like, he said that one time he was alone in LA and he tried to call every one of his influencer friends to hang out because he felt depressed. I think right there, that's another example. Stop looking for influencer friends, because the reality is when you're social media famous and you try to be friends with other social media people, most of the time it's not going to work out. Most of the time it's not, because that it seems like, especially if you're in LA, I don't ever want, if I ever get famous, by the way, and I want somebody to clip this up so that they can remind me, if I ever get famous, I would only ever visit LA. I'm not going to fucking stay there. I know I'm saying this, and some of y'all are going to be like, oh, you're not famous, obviously. You never will be. But hey, look, I never want to go to LA. I never want to, okay? LA just seems like an entirely different shit show that I do not want to get involved with. But I think the issue that Fousey also had is he never made real friends. And he just made internet friends. And I think spending his entire 20s and now 30s looking for that internet fame, I think it's really caused some damage in him. It's not just a thing he was born with it mentally. It now seems like it's a mixture of, he might be crazy, but a lot of that craziness comes from growing up now in his 20s, his developmental years, where you're supposed to become more mature, more of an adult. And now that's all of that forged him to what he thinks he's supposed to be. And I think it's not good, because now you're going to have the cops arresting you, because really the way he talked to the cops and all that, I don't think he's all right in the mind. And I think we need to start acknowledging that. It's not about what he does on YouTube, but it's about what he does for his mind. And I think staying on YouTube or Kick or whatever he's streaming on, it's just not going to help him. I think he needs to find a real job. I think he needs to quit this YouTube, because I don't think everyone's cut out for this internet stuff. I think certain people are, certain people aren't. I don't think Fousey is. And if you are going to do internet stuff, I would recommend doing less of it. And this is what I said in my last video, I really think that what he should do is have a podcast every day, maybe for an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. He can stream like Aiden, stays at home on a computer and talks about life, talks about things, does interviews, and maybe every once in a while do an IRL stream. But streaming 24/7, I don't see the benefit right now. I don't see, besides getting yourself into controversy. But again, if your entire platform, if the only reason why people are watching you is because you're controversial, then you're going to fall down. You're just going to fall off eventually. You're just going to fall off quickly. Because when you build YouTube or you build an audience, it should always be based on if the people like you. Because if you're not doing that, they're going to leave eventually. If you're pretending to be somebody else, if you're not this person, or you're not providing them you as a person, they're going to leave you. They're not going to want you anymore. That's why you see some people who have been famous for a while. Danny Duncan, that's the best example. Danny Duncan has remained the same from 2016 till now, and he's still been popular every day. Makes loads and loads of money doing what he loves because he was himself. Fousey from the beginning pretended to be somebody else, made fake pranks, and I don't think he ever was able to build that audience. But anyways, all I gotta say is I wish him the best of luck. I really hope he gets more into his Muslim roots, because that was one of the things in his, because I think religion is good, even though I'm not Muslim at all. I'm Christian Baptist. I think it's good to be in religion. I feel like religion really helps your mind. To me, it's helped me knowing that there's a being out there who created us and made us, and our purpose is to serve that person. I like that. And I think, honestly, I think Fousey should just take a break from this 24/7 stuff. But that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure to stay sober, stay sexy, and live in the now. See you on the next one. Ciao.
Got me fucked up, I need your love.